Good afternoon. Ralph and I have been working together for quite a while on these kinds of issues, and he asked me here today to talk about the importance of global ethics. Usually I would say that Ralph asked me to speak at something because his standards are low, but that's a whole different problem, so we won't go into that. But so I wanted to speak today. I guess that didn't resonate very well. That's okay. These things happen. Let me ask you that there's no disagreement today that global ethics is important. I don't know anyone that would disagree that we need to understand and pursue and study and think more about what exactly it means by global ethics. Let me just raise a few words and you'll know exactly what that means. I'd say the word Aleppo. Sorry, former governor of Mexico, I know what Aleppo is. It's a human tragedy, right? So it's an important thing. Mosul. Even what goes on in American cities. These are all issues of ethics, and they're all part of the world. Immigration, migration, these are issues that have an ethical dimension, and it is really incumbent upon us to understand these issues in and of themselves and how they affect us, but also to study them from an ethical standpoint, because we do have responsibilities as part of being citizens on this planet, of this country, of the United Nations, whatever organization you want to say. We need to understand these things as ethical issues. So global ethics is very important. Nobody disagrees with it. But I'm going to take a little bit of a different course, because most people say when we study global ethics, that is to say, we look at the ethics of other parts of the world or other peoples of the world, the emphasis comes up that we study this because we want to know how people are different. And it's usually they may have different ethical systems, or they may think a little bit differently about one issue or another. And so that is usually the conclusion we come to. Why we need this? Because we need to understand how people are different. I'm going to tell you that there's really a couple of other reasons why we might want to understand global ethics and how global ethics informs our understanding of the really terrible issues and even the good issues that we witness around this country and around the world. One is because, first of all, I study a part of the world that I've been going to for 30 years. I've been going back and forth to Asia, particularly Japan and Korea, for more than 30 years. And I think that when we understand other cultures in other countries, when we understand other peoples in other countries whose ethical issues are informed by a different religion, a different set of traditions, philosophical or religious or whatever, okay, that we understand more about ourselves. And that's really an important thing that we neglect sometimes. When we understand other countries, we understand more about ourselves and things like that. And what I also want to add is a second point that may be even more off the mark than that first one. I don't think that's controversial to say we understand other people, we know more about ourselves. But that maybe what we find out is how there are more similarities than differences. That is to say, I've been studying, I was told when I went to Japan in the 1980s, everyone thought Japan was going to take over the world, and that the reason the Japanese were so hard to negotiate with was because their ethical systems are different. Japanese are ruled by situational ethics. Lived there for year after year, studied public opinion, talked to Japanese people, talked to Americans, and what I found out was there's a lot more common ground. And we just missed it because we misconstrued the meaning of difference. We didn't look for those areas that overlap and how we could actually negotiate. Everyone thought the Japanese market was closed. The truth of the matter is, in some ways it was. It was cost prohibitive for us, but it was also because Japanese believed that it was okay to protect the market. Whereas Americans said, it's okay for us to protect our market, but not you to protect your market, especially when we want our goods to go there. So what I found was there's this little area of common ground that if we actually dug a little deeper, we might have understood a little better and avoided some of the conflicts that we had during that period of time. So what I want to say is, global ethics is not just important for increasing our understanding of ourselves and others, but it actually, I think, will help us find that common ground we need to build bridges, to build a better society here and elsewhere. And that's why this is such an important event. Thank you.